Hello, hello, hello. Glad you guys could make it tonight. I'm going to do a little housekeeping here. This is a new system for me, so if I botch something, please be patient.
Because I was here.
How are you doing today? Like I said, it's a new system and I already screwed it up. Okay, it's 7:59. I got some people coming in. I'll give it about another minute or so. I'm going to start off with a video, and it's some new drone footage we took over phase four. So tonight we're really going to focus on phase four, but also cover Costa Rica in general and specifically the Caribbean side, some of the changes and things that have been going on. Be about 35 minutes or so till we're done. So I've got to get moving. So we're going to start with a quick video. Okay, we still got some people coming in. Take a look at who's here. Okay. This is an overview. This is a brand new drone video we took. Apologize, the weather was a little foggy that day, but I think it gives us all a unique perspective that, drones have enabled us to have these days. And what you're looking at here is basically all of Grandview. You see our roads uh, going down phase one, two, and three, and here's the main road. So let's just continue. This is probably about a 10-minute video altogether. Try to put that in full screen. Hope you can all see it. Okay, here's phase four. Down on the bottom, you see where my thing is. Here's phase three, phase one, and phase two, and here's the main road. And we're looking out towards the Caribbean. And as usual, uh, about noontime, you get the heat that's on the Caribbean side obscures everything with the haze, but we stay kind of clear where we are because we always have a nice breeze that's rolling through. And this is up at William's house. He built a new spa building, and we're going to go inside there at the end. Looking at the equestrian center and the stables. And to the left-hand side there is the caretaker's house. It's taking care of that area for us. So we're going to zoom down and make a right and head down into phase four. Here's the lake. We had a little problem with the dam. I know they're repairing it. It was leaking, so there's a dam on the left. And as you see this tree, what's really cool about this is the hanging nest. The birds just flew out of there. Um, they're called Montezuma's Angela, and it's a big hanging nest, and they hide down in the lay their eggs. It's a big tree. We're zipping in from phase three and looking over towards the mountains. And here's lot 116, what we're looking at right there. Here's the dirt. I'll point it out right here. And access down to the waterfall right here. So we're heading back towards the equestrian center. Scott and Kathy built this really beautiful home. It's gorgeous inside. cabinetry. I'm going to stop here just 1 second. The lot specials we're going to have tonight, there are 3 lots on this side of the road, right down by the stream. Excuse me. We'll cover that in a little while.
Now it's all kind of screwed.
Restart.
Well, you don't want anything to do with cluster because
Okay, guys, if you could, I can't figure out. So if you could mute yourselves, I'd appreciate that so we don't get.
here. Well, maybe it's his thing.
Okay, another view of phase 4. There's Scott and Kathy's house right there. As you can see, we have the electric the whole way down through the project, and it's going the whole way down into the woods. We've got some very
Well,
beautiful jungle locations down in there. The roads are in great shape. They were just repaired, actually, the whole way up from Route 32. Route 32 is being expanded. Actually, I think we could even catch a glimpse of Route 32 here in one of these videos. That's being expanded from 2 to 4 lanes. And they just repaired the whole road going from Route 32 up to Grandview. And all the internal roads were repaired as well. There's an overlook of the rodeo ring we have. Here's a little bit clearer. Now, right to the right, this is where the lots on special are tonight. The waterfall's right down here. There's a beautiful stream that's running alongside. Very, very flat, easy to build on. The high and dry views like you have on some of these other lots. Here's lot 116, and again, here's the road that runs down to lot 116. Here's the road. Again, right below us is where the 3 lots that are on special tonight. That's what I used to use for my horses. I had some electric fence that I could roll out and covered almost a mile. So it's really nice pasture ground there as well. Here's a great overview of our community pool. It's got one of the premium lots that we had. So you got the community pool and rancho right there. And as you're looking out towards the Caribbean, it's about, that straight line in the back is the Caribbean, and you see the water and the sun, usually in the morning. There's a couple other houses. We've got 14 houses, but you know, they're spread apart. Our lots are large, so you don't see a whole bunch of them.
Too much.
Okay. Let me just pause this 1 second. I want to point out the history of this style of build. Like I say, we've only got a half an hour, and I'm going to try to crunch in as much information as I can. Over the years, we had different building styles and standards and things like that. And I got with our builder last summer, and I said, listen, I want to build something that's less than 75 a square foot. Although 75 a square foot is really good where we're at, and it's a beautiful type of house. But I was watching what he was doing along the Caribbean, and we find out that if you keep a house under 700 square feet, now I know that's not very large, but you can start out with a small cabin like that, 2 bedrooms, bath, and you can actually put several of those together. So you could have one that would be maybe your living area and kitchen, and a couple offshoots for bedrooms, especially if you're going to have guests, Airbnb, things like that. So when we're doing that, what's really effective is to build this style, and we're doing it for between 50 and 75. This is a little fancier than some because it was being used as a spa, but what we're doing is some of our lots are 75,000. You can actually put a home on there and the lot for $120,000. All right, because we keep under that size. We don't have to pay architects. We don't have to worry about building permits, all kinds of, and trust me, this guy, Juan, is my builder. You're not going to find a better house anywhere. I don't care in the States or Costa Rica. So let me get this started. Just take a look around at the quality. All local woods. So they're making all the doors, all the woodworkings right there on the site. You can rent this out if you want to come and visit. There's bedrooms. And I think it really came out nice for the price that we're paying for this building. I think it's incredible because Juan has not been spoiled with the $250 square foot Pacific prices that we used to have. And I avoided that from the beginning, but I've even tightened up and said, Juan, we gotta bring the prices down. So I think we're building the best building in Costa Rica for the money, and the quality is just incredible. Juan's a real stickler for details. By the time your house is done, you're not going to have a big punch list at all, if any. Very, very minor things that you may miss, of course, which is normal. Beautiful teak deck, all custom doors and windows. You see, some of the appliances are local. They're not real fancy, not real expensive. Of course, you know, local furniture, very easy to get right in town at Securities, which is only about 6 miles away. Look at that woodworking. This is my favorite part because I'm a wood guy. So, you know, you get the height, which just makes it seem bigger. With fans up there, you just keep everything ventilated. You do not need air conditioning at Grandview. Don't worry about that. We've got breezes all the time. And if you're using fans, it's going to be the perfect temperature, about 85 during the day. But once it's shaded, it's less. And then in the evening, obviously, it's in the 70s. So you really get used to that. Very, very comfortable surroundings. You always hear the birds. We've got toucans and green macaws and parrots and monkeys in the morning, the howler monkeys. You see the quality of work is just very, very nice. Of course, you can pick your own flooring. We have pretty much every tile known to man. The kitchen cabinets are Laurel, which is one of my favorite woods. It's got a lot of character to it, but it's one of the least expensive. So build kitchens very reasonably. I don't think there's many people that would find problems with this house. You notice there's no screens either. You know, you would think that in our lush tropical surroundings, the bugs would carry you away. But I think the ecosystem is so balanced between the birds and the toads and the frogs and everything else. You're just not overwhelmed with bugs. And I'm not saying there isn't any, but there was way more where I lived in Pennsylvania. And in Florida, I mean, the no-see-ums will eat you alive at night. And you just don't have that issue here in Costa Rica. This is, let me just stop this a second because it's a little out. This is one of our local restaurants. I mean, this is the way we like to eat. We go to these local places, they're called sodas. And as you can see, they're going to have a variety of fresh fruits and vegetables and just home cooking. So, you know, you get a really, really nice lunch here for $6, $7 and, you know, very fresh, local, healthy food. So I'm just going to be quiet as we go through this video here, about 3 minutes or so. This is really the place to come for your fruits and produce. You don't want to go into the supermarkets. Look at the plátano there. It's much cheaper, much more fresh. All kinds of different fruits. These are called cuadrados. Cooks up really nice when you fry them. Here we have pejibajes, delicious. You have to have them cooked though, or they will burn your mouth. I mean, literally. They cook them in a pot. If they're not cooked properly, they will cause you problems. But once they're cooked, they're actually a really, really helpful fruit. Lots of nutrition in them. Then you put a dab of mayonnaise in them. They have a seed, you pull it out. Replace that with a dab of mayonnaise. It's delicious. Pejibajes, you want to cook them yourself. Here we got limoncinos. Very, very tasty. We got a little bit of everything in here. And this is the secret to the good food. And it's cooked the old-fashioned way. You see, it's cooked on wood. Okay. Now I'm going to continue on. We're going to go through some photos. We have about 20 minutes left. I'm just going to scroll through here. Okay, they removed the 40-minute time limit, so I don't have to rush like a crazy person. That's good. Okay, so this is our local, this is one of my favorite beaches in the world, by far. And the secret to this place is, this is Manzanillo. That's really, you can't really drive here. This is the end of the road. But what you want to do is you want to continue down this beach for about another mile, because most people don't do that. And it's really like stepping back in time. As you can see how crowded it is, right? I mean, I used to live in New York, and I'd go to Jones Beach, and literally you couldn't find room for a cow to put it on the beach. It was insane. And millions of people. You come down here, don't go on a government weekend. There's buses and buses of government workers to come out. But you go, I usually like to go in the middle of the week sometime when it's not a holiday season. And this is about what the crowd looks like. And if you walk down further, it's even more remote and natural. The biggest difference, and I just had like a little discussion on one of the forums. People were asking about the differences between the Pacific and the Caribbean. One of the big differences, you can see how close the vegetation grows to the ocean. So you always have shade. We don't have that dry season that the Pacific has, where everything, I mean, it gets, you can't even walk on the sand there if it's a dark sand beach. So here, everything just stays a lot more cool. If you bring your family, they can go right there into the shade. You can hang out all day and not burn yourself to a crisp. So, I mean, we've got literally, I think, the most beautiful beaches I've ever been to. I'm sure there's others that are just as nice, but I don't know. This, I would put this up probably against any beach I've ever been at. Let me give you a really quick overview in case you haven't been there before. People like to know the relationship of things. You fly here into Alajuela. People say San Jose, but it's actually in Alajuela. Our town is Siquirres. It takes about 2 hours and 15 minutes on average. You know, out of the thousands of trips I take, and we take a northern route. We come up here to Guapiles. We head to Siquirres. Because they're building the road from the mountain out 4 lanes, obviously that trip is going to get shorter. So I don't know what it'll be. If it's 2 hours and 15 minutes now, you know, cut 20 minutes, a half an hour, I'm not sure. Of course, it depends on traffic and the time of day and everything. So it's not a real big deal. And some folks who live there keep their car at their house. And listen, you can get a bus from San Jose for $3, and it'll take you right out to Siquirres. So, you know, you don't have to worry about driving, renting a car if you're a resident there. And there's other ways we can talk about later. But beach areas, all up here is Tortuguero National Park, and zillions of plantains and bananas are growing through here. So basically you come out the main road and you come to the Port of Limon. Here's Moline. You see my little pointer. This is where the megaport's going in. It's an incredible thing to watch. Just the roads. I didn't have a lot of time to do all my pictures, but the brand new roads we have that are like the U.S., you know, is the first time anything like that's been done here, with the, you know, raised concrete roadways out to the port. This is changing the face of the Caribbean, slow but sure. You know, it's great for real estate values, great for businesses if you wanted to start a business. And every time you take this drive from Securities to Limon, you know, you see what's creeping out, the businesses and the activity is creeping out from the ocean, right? Because it's got nowhere else to go. It can't go out here in the mountains. It can't go up here in the banana plantations. So the commercial and all the growth is happening along this main road, and all the real estate values are increasing. And Manzanillo, which is that picture of the beach, it takes me now. You learn to drive when there's not traffic. When I do a beach day, it's a whole day. I leave early and get down past the traffic that can be here in the port city early, spend a whole day down here. So it takes me about, I don't know, an hour and a half at the most to get the whole way down here. I spend the whole day and then I come back. And of course, we have a couple restaurants we stop at in between. So it makes a really nice day. I'm just going to try to do a little bit of a flow here. When you're on our side of the country, look at the size of these carambolas, the star fruit. These things are gigantic. Everything we grow, these are from my property and my trees, and I have guanabana and everything else. Everything we grow is really pesticide-free, organic, and because it's not monoculture, you know, we have a little bit of everything. Insects are not a problem. You know, I think the toucans tend to be the worst problem. When they spot a fruit that's ripening, they're the first ones to it. So you got to keep ahead of the toucans. Here's a guanabana, one of my favorite fruits of all time, and really medicinally, it's almost a magic fruit. And the leaves of the trees as well. If you know, it's anti-cancer and free radicals, gets rid of free radicals, and the leaves you can make a beautiful tea out of. So the whole plant is medicinal and delicious. I mean, my favorite juice of all is made from guanabana. And in our country, everything is fresh and local. It's not packaged. It's not, you know, brought out from Chicago or wherever meat all comes from. This is my favorite restaurant, Las Tilapias. Let me see if I can zoom in on that just a little. I mean, this is a stuffed tilapia with no bones, and they get the tilapia raised right in their ponds behind the restaurant, and they're fed with the clean mountain streams. So you've got the patacones here, which is crushed or smushed plantains. One of my favorite restaurants of all time there. And you can take a look at me. I like to eat, right? And I've had people coming and they go, hey, well, listen, where's the Campbell's soup? I'll take them to the local stores just to get a feel for what's going on. And I said, nobody would ever buy Campbell's soup in this place. This is how we eat soups. You know, you've got yuca and tikisque and corn, and actually it's a nice piece of meat in there, hot peppers. Olla de carne is this feast here, and it's one of my favorite lunches of all time. Very healthy too. Here's just a quick picture of the brand new port. I mean, they just built this island. If you can see behind here, this was not there. This was a bay. And they've come in, and this is only one of several islands they're building, and they just got this thing operational. So providing jobs and just everything else. I mean, my architect has built 2 towers of really nice condos, and he also is building kind of like apartment type buildings because there's so many workers coming in and overseas workers who need a place to live. And we're also getting people in Grandview. Some of the supervisors and managers don't mind driving the half hour, and they can live up in the mountains and have a beautiful home and, you know, come into work during the day. So that's really one of the biggest factors to how Limon is growing and changing. And I've never been in a place anywhere where I've seen more positive, healthy economic activity. You know, and it's also just great for the people. They've got more jobs and more money, and life is better. I love Costa Rica ever since I started going there in 2002, but I kind of liked it backwards more. But realistically, for the country and the people who live here, the modernization and things like that are much better for the country and more opportunities for families. So, and right down this beach is just south of Limon. And if you look at the map, you'll see that the coast is straight for quite a ways. And the government owns the beaches, so they can't keep you off them. Nobody can keep you off the beach. So you basically have access to the beaches whenever and wherever you want to go. Nobody can stop you. This is down at Coweta National Park. This isn't that far from Grandview either. Beautiful place. It's a national park. Uh, Beautiful walk along the beach and then through the mangroves. There's always toucans and parrots and monkeys. It's very, very nice. And they really improved it a lot over the last couple of years. They put some picnic tables. You can walk down through here along the trail, and they have little picnic areas to stop in and lunch. And, you know, the kids and family can be out here at the beach. So this is definitely one of my favorite local places. Not quite as pretty as Manzanillo, but it's nice too. This is just, if you want to do fishing, there's all kinds of local guys. This is your typical panga that you're going to go out in. There's some more modern boats, but this is the staple kind of boat that you're going to find in Costa Rica. They're built there, made out of fiberglass, and weigh about 10 tons. You don't have to worry about somebody carrying that away. This is a restaurant right there. It's one of my favorite restaurants if you're going down to Coweta. It's the Hotel National Park Hotel. Very nice food and juices right there on the beach. So if you're taking tours with me, I usually try to take you down here at least for the day so you can get a feel for at least what our nice beaches are like. That's another little hobby of mine. I love spearfishing. And as you can see, I don't know about Texas, but I know Costa Rica grows some big critters too. That was about a 100-pound fish there I got. There's another fish. Very nice. Have a lot of fun with my buddies doing that. This was back in November. I went with some high school friends. Actually, you know, Facebook's connected us with old friends. And I had some people from church and my high school buddy here, Mike, he came down and we did some great fishing and diving. So you can see that's a mahi-mahi. And we were there for about 8 days. And trust me, we had fish every single meal, just about. When you're in Costa Rica, one of the nice things is, even from Grandview, nothing's that far away. I can get to this is Arenal Volcano, Volcan Arenal. It's, as you can see, it's one of those picture perfect type volcanoes. It's not very active anymore though, which kind of bummed people out. It used to be, you used to be able to see the, as you can see, these trails down here. At night, I'd stay at the local hotels where you can watch this, and you'd see hot embers running down the sides. But it's still gorgeous. You got to make sure it's not rainy, though. It's quite a rainy part of the country. But that day, we were there last November for, no, 2 Novembers ago, for my anniversary. This is the lake that's at Volcan Arenal. There's my little sweetheart. I love this. They got the hot springs there. So I think there's 6 or 7, I forget. But they start out at the warmest, coming out of the ground. And these are manufactured little pools, but they did a very nice job. And as it rolls down the mountain, they get a little more cooler. And you can see the volcanoes in the background there. And we had a really wonderful vacation. We had our family there too. It was our anniversary, but I took the whole family. There's some critters wandering around the hotel. There's some other critters that were in the backyard there. I thought that was a pretty cool picture. It's one thing about Costa Rica. I mean, it's lush, it's beautiful, it's full of every creature that you can imagine. Because if you've been doing your homework, you know that as far as the biodiversity in Costa Rica, there's nowhere else on earth that's as rich as we are. This is a view from Grandview. Now, this is really a typical morning. People ask about the ocean. Well, we're 14 miles as the crow flies in this picture. And so if you have a view from your lot, you'll usually see it in the morning. But like I said, it gets humid and can fog up and haze up. So usually by the afternoon, you're not seeing the water anymore. But it's still beautiful, and you're looking down over the plantains and everything else. This is our local volcano. Now I zoomed in on this. It's not that close. It's about 35 miles. This is Turrialba volcano, quite active. Thank goodness, though, our sea breezes are always in one direction. So it's blowing, see what the direction that smoke's blowing, opposite of us. I mean, it's actually closed down the airport in Alajuela a couple times because it's just been so much ash and things like that. But as far as Grand View, all it does is give us a really cool view. It's no threat whatsoever. Here's one of our waterfalls, and I have a walkway that's going down there right now. So there's no cell reception, things like that, which is great. So just don't worry about being down there, being on the internet, talking on your phone. Use this for the tranquility. The pool is really nice in there, 6 to 8 feet, depending on the time of year. This is not ours, okay? I was just in November, I was looking at some of the competitors, and you can see there's 2 houses here. This no, there's 3. All these are jammed together. Number one, I don't know how in the world this is considered as fitting in. I look at the marketing, and it's a nestled in, natural blending in with nature. I don't, maybe I'm just an old coot, doesn't like contemporary, but these are $1 million homes. All right. There's nothing that fantastic about them. They're crunched together. However, this particular project is close to the ocean, so they do have some killer views. That I will hand to them. But for $1 million, what you get here, I just don't. I don't see. We beat them by far. This is a new rancho that one of our. Actually, it's the second one on his lot because he was doing well with his Airbnb, and sometimes when he wanted to come visit, he lives in Escazú, which is outside of San Jose. Sometimes his place was rented out, which is behind here, so we needed a place that was his. So we built this and came out very nice, very clean, simple lines, quite inexpensive. This is another style home that was about $75 a square foot. This is Scott's home. You can see he put some steps in. It's going down to his garden, and there's his garden. He's got the pineapples here. His garden area. He's thinking about putting a pool down there, and there's a stream in the back going down the hill there. This is another home we built. I actually built this. It came in at $75 a square foot. We were really, really careful about our supplies and what we're buying, but it's got the natural clay roof, all custom kitchen, all custom doors and windows. Nobody in the country has beaten us for our pricing of homes and the quality, just because I spy on them all the time. This is a contemporary home too. This is behind that other little one. This is the first one they built. The interesting part of this was I got a vendor that panelized this. So they came in with trucks. The walls here are panels. So they came in, they had them stacked on the trucks in the right order. And as they put them up, they're steel, they're surrounded by steel on the edges. So as they put them in place, they weld everything together and then they cover it with stucco. And I think this came out, because of the quickness in the build, it came out to about $60 a square foot. So that's another option that we're working on. So everything we have is running between 50 and 75. Obviously, you can spend more, but I mean, the closest I know other people are building is 110, 115, and a lot of those are being built with styrofoam. If I was building with styrofoam, which is a good product, I'm not putting it down, because if you're in the hot part of the country, you need air conditioning, and styrofoam is actually a better insulator than concrete. Although this home here is very high density concrete, but typically your block and concrete home is not that great of an insulator. But if I were building with styrofoam, I'd cut the price down by 10%. There's another picture. I love the trees in the back. It's gorgeous. And of course, when you're living here, I mean, these are all right in the backyards of houses. This is our great green macaw. This particular day, I have a video. We had 30 in the tree. It was mating season, and they were causing quite a ruckus. Thought I had some more. I know I had some more photos. Just give me 1 second here. Okay. There's 2-toed sloth. Look at a happy face. These things are so cool. Right in the backyard. There's a 3-toed sloth, a little bit different. Not as pretty and a little more cranky too, especially with the baby. we went over to take a look and the mommy wasn't that happy. Okay, let's get to the meat and potatoes here of phase 4 and some of the specials we're running tonight. I'll zoom in on here. You saw with the drone, we flew over. Here's Scott's house. Here's the lake and the equestrian center. So the drone came down this way. So we go way down here. The lots that I'm promoting tonight are these three, 120, 119, and 118. As you can see, they're right along the stream. The waterfall's right here. See where my mouse is. Very easy to get to, nice and flat to build on, as you can see. So those are the three that I'm promoting tonight and I have on special. We've just done a lot of improvements and things like that. Want to get some cash flowing in again. Because I have to tell you that, I mean, you all know because you're part of the people I've been talking to for a lot of years. The economy here in the States was scaring people off. So we're back to normal again. People are traveling, people are investing. So we'll get right down to the last. Gotta make that smaller. Okay, and that's the streams that are in back of these three lots. Big, nice big pools so you can swim. Kind of reminds me of Vermont or New Hampshire. There's me and my horse up on the mountain overlooking the plantation. So if you're a horse person, we've got the place for you, that's for sure. There's my little baby there, Pecos. We raised him from a baby. The mom there died. It wasn't too long after this. And we raised it like a puppy in the backyard. So that's the end of the pictures. Okay, the pricing in phase 4, let me pull this up here in a second. I tried to get this as a JPEG to be faster, but I couldn't figure that out today. So it's just a Word document. I just wanted to show you quickly what the price list is in phase 4, typically. Maybe today. Okay, here we go. Okay, this is the typical price list. Those lots, as you can see, we changed things around. We used to price per square meter, but we don't do that anymore. We kind of balanced everything out. Every lot is at least 1¼ acres. Some are bigger, some are a little smaller. We've got a few premium lots, but in general, most everything here is 75,000. So lots 118, 19, and 20 are 1¼ acres. They were 75,000. For the webinar special is a 40% discount. That means it's only 45,000 bucks. You know, those projects I was showing you on the Pacific side, they're getting $45 a square meter. And this is a lot less. Their lots are $200,000, $300,000 when they're priced like we do. So it's incredible. And I didn't move down to Costa Rica to live on a 1/4 acre lot. Okay, that's not the way we designed it. We're not interested in that. So we got some nice big lots, and if you'd like one of those, 30% down. That locks it in. That's yours. Okay, the title goes to you, and 0% interest for 2 years. That will be 8 payments of just about $4,000. If you needed to finance, we always come up with different ways to do that. Since, listen, we don't have any debt, so we're never hurting for money. We're never going to promise something and not do it. The roads are in, the water's in, the electric's in. it's all done. The HOA has taken over the project already. So there's nothing to worry about. Just come on in and build. Okay, that's the end of that. So you have my email. If there's any questions, if you want to lock down one of these lots tonight, just shoot me a quick email and we'll go from there. Of course, if you have any questions, if you want to spend more time on some sort of share like this, whether it's Google Hangouts or something like that, I mean, I'll spend as much time as I can. You know, I got lots of pictures, lots of information. Don't forget we have our tours as well. You can ask me about those. I'll spend 3 days with you, show you the Caribbean. Because what people find is it's not so much analyzing. You're doing that now, right? You're looking at the pictures, you're reading, you're getting all this information. When you put that together with boots on the ground, it's either something that's for you or something that isn't. That's the way I've we've sold 90 out of 121 lots. So everybody comes down, oh, I'm not making a decision today. I'm going to pray about it. I'm going to ask my family. They come down and they look around and they go, I'm in. You know, because it's the feel of the place that's the most important. And these pictures and videos, they don't even come close to, how it smells and how it feels when you get there. So thank you for joining me tonight. I'm pretty much right on time. 8:40 is what I planned on. So any information you need. Oh, if you didn't get my book yet, I send e-copies of that out. Be glad to do that if you don't have one. And that'll fill you in on my experience of living there and being married to Costa Ricans, etc. So thank you very much again for joining me, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks.